Premier League surprise team of the season. Goalkeeper Matt Sells. I think he's been absolutely phenomenal this season. I think Forest as a whole have been brilliant. 32 years old. Forest took a gamble on him, and now he stands with the most clean sheets in the league so far this season. Interestingly, the most punches of any goalkeeper in the league. And he's not a sweeper keeper. He's had the least sweeping, keeping clearances. That is a stat. Fewest throwouts, but second most goal kicks. What I do think about those statistics is it demonstrates and paints a really nice picture of what Forest have been this season. They've been compact, they've sat deep, they've let teams get onto them, blocked shots, they've stopped things even getting to a goalkeeper because he's not even up there on the save count. When he's called upon, he's there. He's a traditional old school keeper. He's not being asked to play out the back in the same way a lot of these goalkeepers are. He's been asked to sit there, save things, make sure he gets up and clears things, and that's what he's doing. He's been fantastic this season. Right back, another Forest player, Ola Aina. This is another player that there's no way, there's nothing about him that says sign me. He's a solid player, and don't get me wrong, look, comes through Chelsea, he goes abroad, plays in Torino. Nothing saying bring him to the Premier League now. He's going to be one of the best right backs in the league, but that's what he has been. He's 28 now and probably in the prime of his career. The Forest backline's been brilliant, and he's been a massive part of that. Centre back, another Forest player, because I am shocked again, Murillo, 22 years old. For a player so young to play like he's played at centre back in the Premier League all his life, is phenomenal. He's got the most clearances and joint most blocks in the league this season. Again, another picture painted of what this Forest side do. They stop the shots getting to their goalkeeper. They make sure they're in front of everything. They're tight, compact and disciplined, and that just demonstrates it. Murillo, he can carry the ball. You know, he's built like a fridge. I don't understand him. He's like really stocky, hard to shake off the ball and hard to get round, and that is what you want your centre-half to be. Another centre-half that I'm super surprised about, Nathan Collins. I'm not saying that it's because he's not a good player, but Nathan Collins has amassed almost 50 million quid in transfer fees, and he's just 23 years old. Brentford, not actually the best defensively this season, but Nathan Collins is up there in terms of the statistics and what he's provided. He has won the most aerial duels of any player in the Premier League. That is massive for a centre-half to do. Obviously, you expect it to be a centre-half, but you'd expect the likes of Van Dijk, some big players at the back, maybe a Dan Burn, maybe a Lewis Dunk, but he is well ahead of all of them. He's even beaten Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and Everton play the ball up to him 3 times, 4 times every 10 minutes. Massive for Nathan Collins. I think he's been brilliant for Brentford. It's £27 million they signed him for, and look, that is a big risk, especially if you're Brentford, to spend that much on a centre-half, but I think he's been more than worth that fee. Left back, Anthony Robinson. Anthony Robinson's been brilliant. He was good last season. He stepped it up again. What's really interesting about Anthony Robinson is he's got so many assists. He's got 7 assists already this season, but he's also got the most interceptions of any Premier League player. What that tells you about this fullback is that yes, he gets forward and he's got quality when he goes forward, but when he gets back hard, fast, and make sure he's in front of an opposition player attacking. So he's protecting his back line, but he's also getting forward. That is a super disciplined player, and those statistics are brilliant. Side by side, they're fantastic. They're 2 statistics you want your fullback to be capable of. Lots of assists, but also getting back, intercepting things as well. That's fantastic, and yeah, I think he's probably due a big move as well. Central midfield, I've gone with Moises Caicedo, £100 million flop, and now he's, for me, been one of the best central midfielders in the league. He's obviously filling in a lot of the time at right back at the moment with the absence of Reece James and Malo Gusto, and he can almost play anywhere. I think with Moises Caicedo, it was a confidence issue. I saw him and I thought, do you know what, 100 million quid on this guy, I didn't see it working. He's actually had more touches and more passes than any other midfielder in the league. So those touches and passes are normally dominated by your centre backs, your full backs typically at big sides. So that just tells you this is a player who gets on the ball, he dictates play, he makes sure that he gets his team ticking as well. That's really important, but he's also on the end of things, making sure he's tackling, getting back and filling in. So yeah, fantastic. Is he £100 million player? I don't know, but he's definitely getting up there. 23 years old as well. He's got 5-10 years at the top as well, so yeah, brilliant. Central midfield alongside him, Mikael Damsgaard. Mikael Damsgaard, for me, at 24, I think was finding himself almost slipping away from top level football. I think it almost didn't feel like it was working. Thomas Frank maybe didn't have the faith in him, but this season he has. He's had loads of starts this season, and he's definitely in Thomas Frank's first starting 11. He's got assists, don't get me wrong. I wanted to see more goals from him, but he's now got 6 assists. He's actually only behind Cole Palmer in the most through balls played this season, and that's mad because a lot of creative players in the Premier League, particularly for the bigger sides who dominate possession, Mikhail Damsgaard is ahead of all of them bar Cole Palmer for through balls. That just shows, again, he's confident. He's actually willing to get the ball, get on the ball, take your pass players, but make sure he plays that killer pass, and he's trying to find that 6 assists for him for Brentford this season. And I'm really impressed with him because I didn't see it working out for him. I did see him going that way, but he's picked it up, and this season I think he's been one of Brentford's better players. Central midfield, finishing off, I've gone for Ryan Gravenberch. Ryan Gravenberch has no right to be as good as he is in the position he's playing. I think Liverpool signed him almost out of pure talent. I don't think they knew or had a plan for him where he was going to play. I don't think they expected it to be kind of a deeper lying midfielder, but that's where he's ended up, and that's where he's been brilliant. He's still young, he's only 22, and you can see there's a talented player there. You can see from his touches, his decision making is brilliant, but you've got a disciplined player. You've got someone who isn't afraid to run the hard yards, get back and fill in for a lot of the fullbacks that get forward, particularly Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's not scared to get back and forward. I think he's brilliant. He's got quality in the final third when he gets there, but all of his play, particularly at the back, is just slow, it's considered, and you can't really say he ever puts a foot wrong. Ryan Gravenberch, I think, will be in the team of the season if Liverpool go on and win the league as well this season. I think he's been phenomenal. Right wing, Brennan Johnson. Brennan Johnson surprised me this season, and I think he surprised everyone. The criticism he was getting was borderline abuse, and I think at times it did spill over to abuse. I think even from the Tottenham fans' point of view, they were very harsh on him, and I can see why, because this is a player who's got bags of ability, was doing really well at Nottingham Forest, came in for quite a big fee as well, considering, and they expected a lot from him. He was getting big chances, wasting them a lot of the time. The amount of times I'd see him run through on goal or have the opportunity to pull it back to a player and miss it and make the wrong decision. But then something happened. I don't know what happened. It is a mental thing, and what's interesting is when you see a player with that ability, you always think there's something in there if he can just get it right in his head. And it took all of that abuse, that criticism, for him to stand up, be brave and go, do you know what? I deserve to be in the Premier League. I deserve to play for a top club. And he's shown that. He is now Tottenham's top goal scorer for the season in all competition. 13 goals, 3 assists so far, and that just shows you, again, a player that is brave, that can stand up to criticism. Let's do a left wing. Left wing, I'm going to go with Matheus Cunha, and I think he's one of the, not necessarily a massive surprise because he was good last season, but where he's come on again this season, I didn't know he had it in him. I remember over lockdown watching him play for Hertha Berlin and thinking, this is a special player. The way he was moving the ball, he had flair, he was confident, he was scoring. Then he got his move to Atletico Madrid, and you think, right, here you go, here's the stage, a top club, a Champions League side. Can you perform? And he didn't. And I think a lot of people were counting on him, and that then for him to get a move away to the Premier League, I think he probably in his head was thinking his trajectory was a top club. He ends up at Wolves and does really well, but he's stepped it up again this season. Last season 12 goals and 7 assists. This season he's already on 10 goals and 4 assists, and we're just about halfway through. So what he can achieve by the end of the season could be brilliant numbers, and ones that you expect of a forward playing for a top club. There's no doubt he will be moving and Wolves won't be able to keep him, but for this time while he's there, Wolves fans appreciate him because what a player you've got there. Still 25, just hitting his peak of his career. He's got bags of potential. He could get even better, and that's scary because he's made a lot of top players look silly this season. Striker, finally, Nicholas Jackson. I was wrong about Nicholas Jackson. I made a video about Nicholas Jackson last season, that got me quite a bit of heat. It was me comparing Nicholas Jackson to some of the worst players who have ever scored double figures in a Premier League season. He's almost doing things that I want a striker to do, getting in the right positions, but the amount of times he was wasteful, he'd scuff shots, he'd miss easy opportunities, and he'd give the ball away. I think numbers don't lie, and from last season to score 14 goals and get 5 assists, and now this season he's already on 9 goals. I've got to concede. He's a good player. He's a good striker. That's my team of the season so far that surprised me. Hopefully you agree or disagree, and let me know if you disagree.